Oh, goodness gracious. Here today to talk to you about a couple things. I don't know if Adam is going to be with me or if Andy will be with me today. We will see. If not, then you might just be hearing the ramblings of a madman, which is perfectly okay, because most of you are usually okay with that, because I'm pretty good at filling dead air with space, because I talk too much. But either way, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to what we do, then welcome. Again, my name's Chaz. I'm usually joined by my co-host Adam. I'm not sure where he is today, so we will see and see if he's around. What you are seeing on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the best game. Well, yeah, you know, I'll go there.
Hello, hello.
Hey, it's Andy. At least I got Andy here. What's up, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you? Hey, can you hear me okay?
Hello? Hello?
Hold on. Go up. I can. Can you hear me? Oh my God! Somebody send me an invite. Oh God! You guys are ridiculous. There it is. Okay, that'll make it easier. Okay, can you guys hear me now? All right, you can hear me. Yeah. Am I not? Am I cutting in and out or?
No, you're good. I'm getting static every once in a while, but you're coming in clear.
Okay, yeah, that makes. Because that was ridiculous. I was like, this is ridiculous. They must be playing a joke on me or some sort of prank on
No,
me. I don't know what's happening.
Right as we could hear you, then we can't.
Yeah.
Your mic's a piece of junk there, pal.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Gotta love it.
You're fantastic.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, Red Dead Redemption 2 is... I'm not going to do anything that has to do with story missions because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. So I'm just going to go around and cause mayhem while we chat. So if you're new to Talk With, welcome. We are the channel that talks about everything and nothing all at the same time. And we love Star Wars. That's how we got started. And that's what we usually talk about. But we have a lot of things to talk about today, including Star Wars, so that's always a good thing. And I have like three 3 topics that I'd like to go through, and we'll see which ones we can go through without Adam trying to reach his hands through the mic and strangle me. So it'll be fun. I'm excited for this one. So yeah, so I've been playing. It's weird that you guys. Oh, is my mic? Can you wait? All right. So yeah. Let me actually go ahead and do this before we get time with it up to this point. There's a lot of things that I really love about it, and really nothing at all that I dislike. So.
What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. You gotta be. It's ridiculous. Oh, bro. I don't know why. Quite honestly, let me figure this out. Can you guys hear me, or is it still breaking up?
I can hear you right now.
All right. Well, that's great. Yes. You guys have been playing Red Dead? Yeah.
When I can.
A bunch of them. I'm probably like 80 to 90% through, I think.
Oh, okay, nice. I was gonna say with the story mode, I assume because yeah, it's a pretty big game overall. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna 100% this game in terms of everything you can do.
Right. Yeah. So, what's your experience been so far? I guess spoiler free, if we can help it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, my take is that it's probably the most alive world I've ever been a part of in any video game. There hasn't been a single time that felt like, here's the version of needed to say pretty much the same thing, just with a different character. It very much is, every interaction is unique. It sells itself as being alive really well, everything from nature to just the people in it.
Right.
And, it's been like a blast. This is, a lot of times with the game, once I get like 10 hours in, I start to get sick of it. And I am well over 10 hours into this and still super down to play it again.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. I mean, Adam, have you had much time to play at all? I know you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, I've not a ton, but a little bit. I haven't done a lot of the story. I've just kind of been riding around, trying to find the corners of the map and stuff like that. I've done a lot of side missions, which were cool because you kind of just find those organically.
Yeah.
But I feel like if somebody isn't playing the exact same way as me, they might miss out on the side mission that I played.
Yeah.
And that would be a bummer. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I've found the same thing, like riding around and finding side missions and stuff has been pretty like organic in the way that it happens. You just kind of ride up and people are there and you kind of start chatting and then it kind of
and sitting in a bar and the guy's like, hey, you can talk to me if you want to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, and which is pretty neat. Yeah. So yeah. So my impressions of the game so far, it's a pretty much perfect open world game. It's the most perfect open world game that I've actually ever played when it just comes to immersion. Like, there's no other game that I've played. Hopefully, I'm not cutting out for you guys. But there's no other game that I've played that has reached this level of immersion for me. There's games that have gotten close for sure. But this game, like I had stated before, it's definitely going to be Game of the Year, hands down. If it doesn't win Game of the Year, I'll be very shocked and surprised. But it's just, even the just simple things, it's hard because me and Andy have been talking a lot about the game as we've been playing through it, and there's a lot of things that have to do with the story that I would love to talk about because it really exemplifies how great this game really is. But like we said, we don't want to spoil anything.
That's my background on my computer right now. Just the scene itself is a picture and it's on my computer right now. It's just so beautifully done.
Yeah, I will say up to this point, this game has had some of the best story missions that I've ever played in a video game. As far as cinematics matched with the narrative, it has been absolutely incredible to see how well and how great of a job Rockstar did with really paying attention to like every little detail, and then not only that, but they emotionally prepare you for things in a way that a video game has never really done for me before. So you get into these missions, and by the time you get to the missions, like the weight and the gravity of what's happening really sits with you, and when you're having to make decisions, you really are like sitting thinking about them on like a really like personal level, where you're thinking like, what would I be doing, how am I, and you're completely just into it and immersed into it, and it's that's one of the things that I've just found to be great. And not to mention the characters are just so rich and in depth that it's just been I found that, so me and Andy, like I said, we've been playing the game quite a bit, and we've been discussing our experiences with the game. And so I've been playing more on, as you can see by the gameplay I'm showing you now, I've been playing the more outlaw type of mode, where I just ran into a camp and just killed a bunch of people. And I've been playing the more kind of gangster way to play the game, as far as old school cowboy. And Andy's been doing the honorable things in this video game, which I don't quite understand, because it's a video game. If there's any time to like, just slaughter people, it's in a video. So Andy's been playing a completely different way than mine, and we've kind of been comparing notes, so to speak, and our gameplay experiences have been wildly different. Like even down to there is kind of an example I can give you without spoiling anything, really. I sit down and have a conversation with one of the other camp members, or one of the other gang members. And as I sit down to have a conversation, I'm like divulging all of this information about what I'm doing in the game. So like not the story mode or whatever, but what I'm personally doing in the game to affect the world around me. And my character is like expressing regret and remorse and all these things for actions that I'm like personally doing. And Andy did not have that same conversation, because he's playing the game completely differently than me. So it's been really interesting to talk to Andy and see where he's at with the game, and where I'm at. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is an absolute work of art, hands down. It's Rockstar at its best, and I stand by all my statements that I've made. It's the best. It's going to be considered one of the best open world games of all time, and Rockstar creates nothing but masterpieces. So it's been a really fun thing. So we're gonna be playing some Red Dead Redemption as we talk about what's going on. But Star Wars stuff. So General Grievous has been released for Star Wars Battlefront 2. He is out right now. You can check out his moveset. I believe that I put a link in the description to go see a video on him that Star Wars themselves posted. But I did not play him yet because I don't have enough credits. And I'll get into this a little bit. So here's my situation. I haven't played it because I genuinely, and everyone who's listened to this channel up to this point, if you've heard anything from us before, you know that Star Wars is really our MO. That's what we talk about. That's what we love. That's why we started the channel. And I'm probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest Star Wars fans on the planet. So that being said, here's why I don't care about General Grievous being in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Here's why I could care less. Because you have literally a laundry list of characters to pull from. There's Star Wars is its characters. That's the whole thing with Star Wars. It's like the depth of the characters, where they come from, the worlds they live in. It's just so much a part of what Star Wars is as a franchise. And to make a video game based around that, and then literally only give us one character after we've been waiting for months now to get a new character, because let's be real, we haven't gotten new characters in a while. The characters that we got were just reskins of characters that already exist. So they weren't new characters. It was just young Han Solo and young Lando, but they were already existent in the game. They just put a new skin on them. So that's not a new character. That's just a new skin that you charge people almost 60,000 in-game credits for, which is a little bit ridiculous. And then on top of that, you give me a character now that it's great, whatever. General Grievous is awesome, and it comes from an era of Star Wars that's really cool. The Clone Wars and all that. It's really fun, but Why just General Grievous? I know Obi-Wan's on his way. Well, he's supposedly on his way. But to me, it just seems a little bit ridiculous that we've waited all this time and you release one character, and then I don't even have enough credits to actually unlock it in the game because I don't play it because quite frankly, it's just not entertaining anymore. So I don't know. I just really think that Star Wars Battlefront 2 has to do some things to improve. And EA in general really needs to do some stuff to improve how they handle their games, because I just can't get on board anymore with that with it until they release like 15 characters at once and they're like, here you go, you can play as all these guys. Then I'll be like, all right, I'll come back. But until then, I just don't have any desire to really play Battlefront. But I don't know, have you guys been playing it at all recently, or do you even bother with it anymore?
Playing it right now.
That's hilarious because
I got Grievous because 40,000 is not a lot. I feel like I think it's a lot to us because we play like an hour a week, but for anyone who plays anything more than that, that's not a ton. So I got Grievous when he came out. I had enough for him right then because I had been saving up for the Millennium Falcon. Or not the reskin, but the new Millennium Falcon from the Solo movie. But that's like, I think that's 80,000. So I got this instead, and I'll just resave up for that.
Right.
But I haven't played him yet because this is only my second game, and I'm not even on Rebels, so I can't even get him.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I mean, the gameplay itself is, honestly, like we've talked about it. It's tired as far as FPS go. You may as well just play a newer FPS, but there's still like a lot of people who play it, and there's still a good balance between skill levels, which I think is crazy because a lot of times when a shooter comes out, after it's been out this long and it's not as it's as unpopular, I guess I should say, as this is, I feel like its following is super cult and try hard, and you get a lot of people who are really, really good and like no glitches and stuff like that, and the developers don't care about fixing them, and then you're just stuck in games with like 30 people who are streaming or something like that.
Right.
And then, or you get a bunch of people who don't care and are terrible. And this still has that balance between, casual players and hardcore players that I kind of can't believe, because the game's been out for so long and hasn't gotten a lot of support from EA or DICE. And yeah, there are new characters. There's Geonosis coming out this month, which I'm actually really done. I think Geonosis is going to be sick because there's a new game type and the map looks really cool. And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie, of the prequels. So I'm really excited for Geonosis. And then Obi-Wan's next month. And I'm really stoked on Obi-Wan as well. I get what you're saying about like having so many characters to choose from and why only pick one. But I mean, if you are only going to pick one, I mean, it may as well be this. You already have all the really good Siths out there.
Right.
So I get that side of it too. So I don't know. I have a feeling that Geonosis, Obi-Wan, and Grievous will be the last things they do for it, which makes sense. It's not like they're making money off of this game.
Right.
So, yeah. In terms of Red Dead, I haven't played it very much. I wanted to, and I've been working, or I wanted to, and I was literally in the middle of my first gunfight, and the power went out. So, I was like, great. So I haven't really gotten to play it very much, but it's fun. It's really good. It's pretty immersive, really open world, big. I will say it's like, as far as cowboy games go, it's like that, and I've been to, like I said, I kind of just rode across the map, so I've been to most of the different types of places you can go. I just, like, one of the things I like so much about Mass Effect is there's so much imagination to the different planets, and the planets are so in-depth, and there's a history, and, like, literally books you can read on each of the planets if you just stop and read on the game itself. And they're also dramatically different visually and what you experience on them too. So, I mean, I kind of miss that part of what an open world game can be. But it's not like they can do that. That's not a complaint on Red Dead. And I will say, technically speaking, one of my big complaints about Rockstar games from a technical standpoint is animation, and Red Dead looks much better when the characters move around than what my traditional experience with Rockstar has been. Like, one of my big, complaints about Grand Theft Auto, other than just that I don't like it, is that, like, when the characters move around, it's just not as good as a lot of other games are. In Red Dead, I really like how the characters move and the little details. Like, when you're riding your horse and you're sort of just cantering around, and your character, like, lets his hand just hang by his side and it bounces and stuff. It's just really, the details are really cool. In the animation, which is pretty sweet. And honestly, not what I would expect from a Rockstar game, especially a game that's this big, because there's so much else that's taking up the hardware in terms of the open world and the graphics they put into the scenery and stuff like that. You would expect the animation to be a little bit lesser, but it's really good. Like I said, it's like the definitive cowboy game. I've played, I think, every good cowboy game that's come out since like the last 3 or 4 generations of systems. I used to really like the game Gun for GameCube and PS2. I really love that game.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Red Dead Revolver, because I wanted another cowboy game, and Gun was incredible. So I got into Red Dead Revolver as a result, and Red Dead Revolver was not good, in my opinion. And then Redemption came out, and Redemption was insane. So I'm excited to have another really good game. It sucks that it's coming at this point in my life, because I'm not in a position where I can no-life the game. So it's almost overwhelming when I turn it on, and I'm like, alright, I can't do any of this right now, because I have like an hour tops to play. I could pour an hour into, like, crafting a gun or playing dominoes. So I'm not playing,
exactly.
I can't do anything meaningful. And that kind of sucks, because I never got that feeling from other open world games that I played, particularly Mass Effect, or even Bethesda games like Elder Scrolls. I never felt like my time limit was a hindrance on what I could experience in the game. And I have felt like that with this, where it's like I want to play. I'm already, a minimum of like a week behind my friends who have played it. And there's just, it's impossible for me to catch up. So but it's really good. It's really fun, and the graphics are good, and the gameplay is really good. It's frustrating sometimes, I find, and I might just not have a great character yet, but I die pretty quickly in weird situations. Not quickly. Like, I'll lose a fight that I have no business losing, and then I'll win a fight that I have no business winning. And that's kind of weird to me. But that, like I said, that just might be my character.
I will say that the more that you, because I attempted to just roam when I first got the game, because I was like, oh, this game's so huge and it's so big, and I just want to kind of see what it's all about. And then I realized that the game is specifically set up and designed for you to kind of play through, and I think me and Andy kind of talked about this, you have to kind of play through the first like 2 chapters of the game before you really can actually like experience the game for like what it is, because a lot of those mechanics and things that make the game more not more playable, because the game's 100% playable like from the jump, but the world starts to I will say, like, and maybe I'm just giving too much credit to Rockstar, but I don't think so. But the game really is set up in a way that makes it feel like you're in the Wild West. So when you first approach it, it's untamed and crazy, and you're like, what the hell? Everything, there's fishing, and there's this, and there's that, and there's all these different mechanics that I have to get used to. And then as you start to kind of tame or, settle the West, I guess, to continue on with my metaphor, the game starts to come into its own, and it starts to make a lot more sense, and it starts to feel a lot more natural, and you go from one thing to the next. And I have never had, to this point, I haven't had a dull moment in this game, even if it's just fishing or going hunting or, playing Five Finger Fillet or what have you. Every moment I've had in this game has been really genuinely entertaining. And I find something to really love about almost every aspect of it, just because I just feel like every time I approach something new, Rockstar has done a great job in setting it up where it feels new and it feels like really unique to the situation. And like I said, the story mode, once you start getting deep into the storyline, all these moments and all these characters get you set up in such a way that genuinely feels organic and real and new and unique to yourself. There's one specific mission towards the end of one of the chapters, and I think Andy probably already knows like which one I'm thinking of. But there's one specific mission towards the end of one of the chapters that was so good I had to like pause the game and put my controller down for a second and like take a breath, because I was like, that was so intense and so like heart pounding that it felt like I just lived through like a quick 10-minute movie. That was like, it was incredible, and it speaks volumes for, and like I said, the setup to get there, everything. There's a lot of games that you play where you'll finish off a mission and you know what the purpose of the mission was and you know why you had to do it and the story that ties into it is cool and whatever, but like you don't quite feel as like invested in everything that's happening. Where as in Red Dead, every single decision I make, I feel fully invested into that decision and I feel fully invested emotionally into what's going on around me.
And I was going to speak to that, which is
Yeah.
in that particular mission that you were just talking about, exactly the emotions it stirs up in you are materialized on the screen.
Yes.
That's part of what makes it so good, is that the game is so in touch with what you're feeling in the moment, and part of that is the exploration and the openness and do whatever you want. And then the story mode, follows that as well. Like you said, there's no moments that feel out of place.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a great point. Is that you're right? There's the outcome of whatever your decision is that you're making, whenever it does, like how it manifests itself on the screen. It matches up perfectly to the emotions that led you up to make that decision. And so it's one of those games that I genuinely find to be a triumph. I really feel that if you are making an open world game going on from here, that if you don't study Red Dead Redemption 2, then you're going to be missing out on a lot of things, just narratively speaking. Even if you cut out all the other stuff in this game, because there is a lot, and I understand that when people pick up a big game, because I think me and Andy, I think the only negative thing that we had to say about this game when we first picked it up was like, man, there's a lot of menus and there's a lot of things to navigate, and it seems like it's going to take me. Yeah, exactly. And so it took a second to like kind of figure it out, but by the time that specific mission that we're talking about comes along, you have it all like it's nothing. Like it really does feel natural and easy, and it gets a lot easier. There's some times where I like have to like go to my satchel bag and then like be like, oh wait, no, do I need to go here? Do I need to go? So I'll still have those couple moments, but that was really my only complaint about the game, as far as like its scope and what it does. But that's really a tiny thing in a world that just feels alive. Everything, like when you go hunting, when you go fishing, like I said, it just feels so alive and vibrant, and even to the point where, so there was a situation where me and Andy both played kind of the same thing, and we found these prisoners just kind of like wandering around, and this is like a random mission, so I'm not giving anything away, but we find these prisoners, and basically you have kind of an option to talk to them, help them out, see what's up. When I play the game, you basically have about 5 words to say to me before I just decide whether I'm going to kill you or not. So whenever I play, the people that I talk to are pretty close to death no matter what, because I'm just like, whatever, screw it. I'm gonna rob you and take your money, and then I'm gonna keep moving. So but we were both playing, and in this situation, Andy like helped them out, whatever, got them what they needed, and they went about their way. What I did was I killed one of them, and then I roped one of them up and hogtied him, and then threw him on the back of my horse, and then it gave me a point to go and drop him off somewhere, so that way I could collect a bounty on him. So we played the same exact thing and got completely 2 different situations out of it, and it just feels so natural and so easy the way that you go about it. But so far as like I said, narratively speaking, it's the best game that I've ever played, and I think a lot of people might fight me on that, and that's okay. But it really is, like, narratively speaking, Rockstar does a fantastic job. And what I will say is that in GTA 5, the characters were so extreme in their personalities that it was hard to connect with them really, because like they were just the most extreme version of whatever that character is, you know. So the gangster guy or whatever in the, you know, Michael from the game, he was like just he like, I would never see myself being like that. Now in Red Dead Redemption, you have characters that you interact with and things like that. Like there's one character, Lenny, and we'll talk about him for a little bit, because I'm not going to spoil anything too crazy, because he was actually in the he was actually announced like when the game like was before it even came out, so it's not like it's a big thing. But Lenny's awesome. He's a character in this old western world who's a black guy, and his story, it's so interesting, like, and you're still learning about him, and I'm still learning about him. Andy might know a little bit more about him at this point than I do, because I know he's a little farther than me, but characters like him, where they're making comments about the time that they're in and what's going on around them, and then seeing other characters react and talk with them about that, it's just one of the most organic and wonderful things I've ever seen as far as storytelling in a video game. Like, it really, really does like it. This game is up there for me with games like The Last of Us, where the story is just so good that like you just sit and play it nonstop, because it's just a beautiful narrative storytelling. But then when you wrap that beautiful story in this packaging that's alive and vibrant, it really makes for one of the best games that I've ever played. And that's not just because I love Rockstar. Ooh, I did not mean to rob you, sir. I apologize. I just wanted to get my mail. But yeah, so it makes for one of the best experiences that I've ever played, and I honestly, you know, I can see it being a game that I return to very, very often. I mean, I have played GTA 5 at least once a month for, I can't even think how many years now. It's been a long time that I've played this game. I played GTA like very regularly since Xbox 360. So I can see returning to this game just as frequently as I return to that game, if not more. But so far, Andy, what has been your absolute like most favorite thing about this game? Whether it be the story, the whatever, like what's been like the standout thing for you? Sure.
For me so far, it's been exactly what we've been talking about. The world's so alive, like you said. You're in the West. This is the West. It's the Wild West, and you've got like those classic tropes. However, you also have the historical weight of what's going on. You deal with Lenny, who's a black man, so you touch on that. You deal with the number of Native Americans, so you're dealing with that. It's so real, like you said, the big contrast between this and GTA being that in GTA the characters are such extreme, and this it's, not the opposite, but it goes for more of that, beautiful picture they have, picture, and I absolutely love that. I can, like you said, we just get lost in this game. I love getting lost in the city, and then like going to a small town and just I love getting and seeing what's going on. I love the fact that there's just this, the setting. The setting's just beautiful.
Definitely. I 100% agree. I think it's just, it's really, I can't wait to get deeper into it. It's it's been pretty awesome up to this point. And yeah, if you just actually want to turn your mic up just a little bit, it is, we can hear you, but on the stream, but if you could turn it up just a little bit louder, so that way more people to hear the deep basses and the rich overtones of your amazing voice. So yeah, so I've really just had a great time with it up to this point, and you guys should really get a chance to play it if you can. If not, then I am gonna try to stream a little bit more of it whenever I can. Right now, I was gonna attempt to pick up my mail, but I accidentally threatened the guy, so now he's all scared. So I'm gonna have to go somewhere else.
I do it all the time. That's the one thing that bothers me is like I'll be like I've kind of been playing like what you said Andy plays it as, which is like the honorable playthrough with caring about what people think and stuff, and that's how I played most of these types of games, and that might be why I don't like Auto because it's not really an option. But I play like Mass Effect Paragon for most of my playthroughs and stuff like that. So I've been playing this game similarly, but I'll be like doing something and I'll go to like wave or something. I'll accidentally pull my gun. I'll be like, oh my bad, and I'll put my gun away. But all of a sudden I'm like wanted for assault, and then someone starts shooting me. So I shoot him back because like don't shoot me. And then my bounty goes up to like $50 because I killed 3 people who came after me. So now all of a sudden I gotta like run away and make some money so that I don't kill a bunch more people. And that's kind of annoying. But I mean, it's not. I don't know. I feel like more than the first one, this game makes you like do not cool things, and I like that's the premise of the game. You're in this gang and everything. But the first one was like you were a good guy with a bad past. In this game, you're like a bad guy currently. And when you do things that go against that, he even comments like things that I wouldn't say in anything ever. Like I was talking to some dude and he was like, "I'm not a good guy," and he like chasing that. I was like, all right, like that was a good option. Like what would it have been if I had done the bad option? So like,
I think
that part of it, I guess takes getting used to. What I am really excited for is because this is a prequel, is to play the first one again when I'm done with this one, because I really like the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of things that you guys love so much about this one that I haven't really got to experience in any depth yet are things that I loved about the first one, like the historical parallels to like what was going on in the real world at the time. Happening in the game, like the further you go in the game, the more industrialized the setting gets, and you start to see like a car here or there, or like the trains get more powerful or something like that. So I really like that about the first game. In addition to all like the feminism and racial arcs and things like that, all those things are important too. But I really just I enjoyed the game from experiencing that sort of turn of the Wild West into more modern, and what that meant for the people who were really, a fan of what it was, who were more conservative about it, and that was kind of interesting because so many like Wild West movies were like, just Wild West, and so many, even Gun had like trains and miniguns and stuff like that, but it wasn't like a commentary on that turn from the Wild West to more industrial civilization. So I really like that about the first Redemption game, and I'm excited to play this one and experience those things, and then to go back and replay the first one now that I have like a clear idea of who some of these really big names in the first game's story are, like Dutch and Arthur Morgan and all the posse, really, all those people that you care about in the first game because they're like the point of the story, but you don't really know much about why you care about them, I guess. I'm really excited to play through the first game with that knowledge now. And it's kind of cool that Rockstar did a prequel, because that's not a really, that's not the most common decision to do a game and then, 5 years later do a game that occurs 15 years before the other game. So, so that's kind of interesting and fresh, and it makes for some really weird dynamics because, like, Dutch survives this game, for example. Like, there's no way that doesn't happen. So, like, playing through that with that in mind is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I wonder how people who never played the first one feel about this one. But I am really, really stoked. And it kind of sucks because I'm almost in a rush to beat this one, just because I can't wait to replay the first one.
Yeah, so Andy, you actually never played the first one, right?
Yeah, I was actually just about to chime in because I didn't play the first one and I didn't watch like a YouTube, hey, here's what you should know going in, until I was at, about, I would say 50% through the story. And it was interesting to me because I didn't quite understand Dutch's, where he would be. I didn't realize, without spoiling anything for someone who might not want to know how he is, in the future, I didn't realize what his turn would be, and when I did learn it, I was like, oh wow, like, yeah, I see that, I see, notes of that, And yeah, no, it hasn't impacted my experience too much. Knowing what I know now, I would say there's only 2 characters that I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really see that entirely. I said I saw it a little bit, but no, it's been as interesting with the knowledge of the previous game as with that.
Yeah, I will say to make a couple points. I think what I really like about this game, as far as what Adam was saying, was about like, oh, I felt like I made the good decision, but still something kind of bad happened. So I think this game plays with the idea of moral ambiguity in a way that other games haven't really been able to express in such a beautiful way. Like this, the whole idea that I'm getting from having played this game is that you're in a gang, right? And so you're a part of a family, and taking care of your family, your business is, you're stick-up kids, and that's your business. That's what you do. So, in order to take care of these people and make sure that you can survive and you can preserve this way of life that you very strongly believe in, you do things that might toe that moral line. And my favorite characters in any genre of any medium have always been characters that toe that moral line of, I'm doing it because it's what I have to do. And though it might not be the right thing to do, it's what I need to do to be able to survive. And I just so wholeheartedly identify with those things, especially like talking about just like the racially driven stuff in this game. A part of being a part of like African American society and being part of like black culture is like we've had to do things just to get out of our situation. And even though those things might not have been great, like selling drugs or something like that, those are terrible things to do. But what's the alternative? Live in ghettos and these other things. So it's like this moral ambiguity I just find to be so beautiful, and so and this game does it in a way that I can really relate to, and I can really feel like I'm making these decisions. Now, however, in real life, please don't worry, guys. I won't shoot you and rob you. I promise. I'm not that guy. I'm not crazy, and I'm not super violent. But don't ever find me in a video game on the wrong end of a gun, because if it is in a video game, I more than likely will kill you and take your stuff. So I don't tend to live morally when it comes to this game. I always try to go the bad route of things just because I'm like, it's a fantasy, so I'm gonna fantasize that I'm a crazy person. And maybe that means deep down I am. I don't know. Who knows? But luckily it's just in a video game, so I'll never really actually know. But yeah, it's one of those games that I really have gotten more out of than just playing it. And that kind of leads me to my next topic, which is Diablo 3, or Diablo Immortal, I'm sorry. If you are a gamer in any realm, shape, or form, you have been probably keeping up with the news. If you like Blizzard at all, then of course you probably kept your eye on BlizzCon and saw what was going on there. And of course, there was some tweets ahead of BlizzCon that told us, hey, you guys can expect something Diablo related. And I am a fan of Diablo. I did not play much of 1 or 2, and I know 2 is kind of the definitive version of the game that a lot of people really, really love. I played Diablo 3 because it was on console, and I know even that was kind of a big deal when that happened, and it went to console. But Diablo Immortal will be on mobile games. And that's not really what I want to talk about. That's just kind of the segue into what I want to talk about, which is there's this kind of idea going on right now that video gamers are too... what's the word that I'm looking for? That we are entitled. That somehow like we feel like we deserve this sort of thing. We need to have it, and if you don't give it to us, then we're just going to rage and we're going to whatever. And I kind of was thinking about it. And I was thinking to myself, if any group of people had the right to feel entitled to something, it's gamers. And the reason I say that is because we experience and deal with the entertainment or the piece of art or whatever you want to call it. We deal with it and work with it in ways that are a lot different than you absorb almost any other form of media. When you read a book, you sit and it happens to you. When you watch a movie, you sit and it happens to you. When you listen to music, you sit and it happens to you. But you don't really interact with it. And yes, you can like interact with it in the force, like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next, and I wonder what's going to, and oh, you know, like that might be a mild interaction. But video games are really the only medium where you fully immerse yourself, make decisions, get to know the world, get to know the characters, and really like immerse yourself in this form of entertainment. And so if anyone's going to be allowed to be entitled, it should be us, because at the end of the day, if we don't want to play it, and if it's not something we want to play, because it's not like Disney they can literally dump out garbage movie after garbage movie after garbage movie, and not that I'm saying that's what they do. Some of them are garbage, but you know, it's one of those things where they know that there's always going to be an audience that's gonna pay for it, and they're always, if you put Marvel on it and pop it in the theaters, you're gonna make a quick $1 million. Like, that's going to happen. I just don't. I feel like Battlefront 2 is a perfect example of this. Their sales numbers were not great, and you can really tie that back to their marketing. You can tie that back to the way that they released the game and the state in which they released the game in. There's a lot of factors to it, but the fact of the matter is that Battlefront 2 did not sell well, and that's because of, I truly believe, that gamers didn't want it, because we had a lot of issues with it, and a lot of gamers had a lot of problems with it, and because of that, they didn't buy it. So, that being said, Diablo Immortal's coming out, and it's on, and it's going to be on mobile. A lot of people aren't happy about it, which I can completely understand. Especially seeing the release of the game. The gameplay is exactly like this Chinese knockoff of a game, and it's literally just reskinned. And they went with the company to help them build it that built this kind of Chinese game, and it's literally just a reskinned version of this. So Diablo Immortal is really not even doing anything like original or new. It's the same layout, it's the same scheme, and a lot of people are really upset about it, rightly so, I believe. But now there's this like reverse backlash where everyone's like, well, you gamers are just so entitled and you just want what you want. But that's just not how the way the world works. And I agree that, and the way that the whole world works is not like that. But the realm of video games is very, very different. And we experience things, like I said, very different than other people do when it comes to their favorite types of, you know, whether comic books or movies or books or what have you. You know, we definitely experience it differently. So, have you guys heard anything about Diablo Immortal at all? Have you been like keeping up with it at all, or is it just like everything I'm giving you is like brand new stuff?
No, I had read about it maybe a week and a half ago. I read like a little presser for it that they were going to have at BlizzCon, and it's fine, whatever. I mean, my thing is that the people who love Diablo are like hardcore PC gamers, stereotypically.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway too.
So I think that like they could have done it with another property and had maybe more success. Like if they had done it with like a StarCraft build, or even StarCraft similar, or like Warcraft or something that doesn't have the ferocity that Diablo's following has. StarCraft is a little bit different because it's hyper competitive, which, by the way, they had the first non-Korean win StarCraft 2 tournament, which is insane.
That is insane. That's absolutely nuts.
Like in 20 years, I think, which is
crazy.
But I don't know. I think that like Blizzard's just different. Blizzard is a PC game company, and I'm not saying, you know, stick to what you know or anything like that, because you do you. But your audience is a PC gaming community, and mobile just doesn't currently have that depth or quality that, if you have money, a PC can offer you. And most Blizzard fans have money, so I think that, or don't have money because they spent it all on a computer. So I think that for me, a lot, and I mean, this is getting into a lot of stereotypes that I think the gaming community experiences, but so it might not be a common. But I also think that, you know, Blizz freaks can be the more vitriolic people in the gaming community in general. Like a lot of them are super racist and would consider themselves to be incels or something like that. And if there's a group of people that I don't really interact with very frequently, that again you could blanket stereotype state, it would be Blizzheads. So
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love StarCraft. I built a PC for StarCraft in like 1997, and I used to play competitively and StarCraft now, so I have no connection to Blizzard whatsoever. But I mean, it just seems like if Bethesda were to do something like this, no one would care. But because it's Blizzard, it's not. I don't know. But the other side of the argument is that they, like, and we have this conversation all the time about Star Wars, about Marvel, about whatever, and it's like, oh God, this just ruined my childhood. Well, no, it didn't. Like, your childhood's still there. If you want your childhood, go watch your childhood and don't experience anything new. So,
Right.
like, if you don't want it, don't get it. I
Right.
truly don't understand that side of things, and I never will.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I definitely get that for sure. My only thing with things like games like my issue is that, like, with games that hold such weight to them, like, there are certain titles that are just those titles. So, like, Final Fantasy and which is now on mobile. Which is on mobile. And Blizzard and Diablo is like one of those games that I just like. It's because I do like certain aspects of Blizz. So I like Overwatch, which I know I'm completely in the minority, but I do genuinely enjoy Overwatch. I really like the game. I like the competitive aspect of the game. I like that it's team-based. I like that each hero is very distinct and different, and that the balancing in the game is constantly being worked on to accommodate the new meta and whatever the new meta might be. So there's a lot of things that I do like about that game specifically, which is not on mobile. But to me, this would be kind of like if all of a sudden they were we're gonna release a new Kingdom Hearts, and we've been waiting all these years, but it's not gonna be on console. It's just gonna be on mobile. I would lose my mind. I would but what I'm saying is with Diablo, people have been waiting for how long has it been since Diablo 3? It's been several years. It's been a while now. So people have been waiting and waiting.
Still play Diablo 3. Like, Kingdom Hearts is an episodic story-based franchise that, like, you wait on a new episode of. And you wait.
Yeah, but
whereas Diablo is like competitive, repetitive, and
right.
I mean,
but it's also
it, but
like it's one of those games that really like my point is to say is that it's one of those games that holds a lot of emotional weight for certain fans, and whether it's an episodic game or a game that you can dive into at any time, like when you're waiting for because that's like if you took away Call of Duty for 8 years. And then you're like, we're going to release a Call of Duty, but it's only going to be on mobile. People would lose their minds. They'd freak out. Now, Call of Duty is a game that you can continuously go back to and play because it's online and it's always whatever. But if they just cut it off for 8, 9, 10 years and then said, all right, here's the game, but it's going to be on mobile. First off, let's be real about the mobile aspect. It's a cash grab. That's what it is. Now, you can call it a realistic game if you want to, but if it's on mobile, my automatic reaction is, this is you trying to get microtransactions out of me. And I'm going to now be paying for a ton of stuff that I wouldn't have had to pay for before. Now, that being said, the video gamers need to understand how much it costs to make a video game. And it's not cheap. And especially as games get better and better and better and better, it costs more to make them better. So, a lot of people are investing their money in this mobile, arena, EA, and how they completely bungled up Madden for me, but whatever. It's one of those things that once they said it was going to mobile, if I was a bigger Diablo fan, I could understand being upset and being really irritated with it. But like you said, you don't have to play it. But then you really feel as if something's being taken from you because you've been waiting and waiting and like, oh, I'm finally going to get this game that I really have been waiting a long time for, and now it's not what I thought it was going to be. So it's disappointing. And so of course people are going to express their disappointment over that because they've been devout fans of something for so long, just to kind of be told like, it's not going to happen. So it's one of those things where I definitely understand like why people are as upset as they are. I personally don't believe in going online and just bashing people that have nothing to do with the thing that you're upset about. That doesn't make any sense to me. Specifically with Star Wars The Last Jedi, I hate the character Rose. I can't stand her. She's a terrible character. Terrible, 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 and it's just awful. But the actor who plays her, I have no issue with. I think she's a perfectly fine woman, and that she's awesome, and that, you know, I think that it's awesome that she's such a nerd, and she seems really, really cool, and I'd love to hang out with her, and she seems awesome. I'd never go on her personal, like, Instagram page. Probably now she doesn't have one because people are so terrible, but I wouldn't go on her personal page and then just destroy her as a person because she did something in a movie that I didn't like. And so when it comes to people, like, going after developers and game designers and things like that, they're working for a company that tells them what to do, and then they do that thing. It's not like they're sitting there making all these decisions. And what probably happened was they were like, all right, Blizzard team, here's the deal. We're going to make this new game, but we're going to put it on mobile. I'm sure like everyone was like, what the hell, man? Like, that sucks. But it's a job, so you do your job and you get it done. So that's where I feel like the split comes, where please complain all you want to, because that's how things change. That's how we get what we want out of these gaming companies, However, there's no need at all, and we've talked about this before, but there's no need to go and like personally attack a single entity or person or body because you're upset with something, and then say things that have nothing to do with the actual game itself, where you're just literally like name calling and being ridiculous. That's never acceptable and never okay, and it's kind of unnecessary in all situations. However, it's okay to say, hey, this is dumb, I don't want a mobile game, you guys need to do something else about this. But like even the Discord channel for this new Diablo Immortal, it got started and it got shut down within I think 24 hours, because people were just like, it just turned into basically like hate speech central. Like that's what it turned into. So it's one of those things where it's like you gotta know how to fight your battles, and I believe like truly that video gamers have more control over our form of entertainment than other people do. We can really, like, when a game is getting announced and things like that, and beta start coming out and all that, we really have a say in how things go. Not all the time, but Assassin's Creed is a perfect example. People got really sick of this like Call of Duty model where it was like, let's just pump one out every single year. And people got fatigued by it because the games were becoming terrible and it was awful, and so people spoke up and said, we're not going to keep buying these games if you're just going to keep releasing crap. So they stopped. They took some time off, and Assassin's Creed Origins was very good. Assassin's Creed Odyssey I have not played because I was waiting for this game. But Assassin's Creed Origin was a pretty decent game. So it shows that and it sold well, is I guess what the other thing is I should be saying is that it did sell really well. So it does show that in video games, and then Fortnite is a great example for what a community can do for a video game. It's a great example for, if people get together, talk about what they want, talk about what they don't want, the developers will listen, and if it's an active and alive community, then it really can change what happens. But did you happen to hear anything, Andy, about the Blizzard situation, or was that kind of a new thing to you?
Yeah, I mean, I did. So my initial reaction was actually outrage, burn down the city.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, and the more I listened to what you two guys had to say, there's a huge conversation right now to be had about mobile gaming And is it a part of the gaming community? Is it its own thing? Is it good or bad for the gaming community? But I don't think that this case is a unique instance in that conversation. I think what happened with Blizzard is really just bad PR and mishandling at like 5 different stages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the time to make this announcement is not at BlizzCon. You know those are hardcore PC gamers. You don't want to make a mobile announcement in front of that crowd. You're not going to get people who are excited.
Right.
In addition to that, dude, there's that clip going around that cracks me up, which is they're having the Q&A, and the guy says, hey, so is this going to be coming to PC, or is it just mobile, or what? And the dude pretty much says, like, screw you, you have a phone. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious.
I think, and it is, but like I said, I don't think that this case uniquely stands out. I think it's just another example in the conversation of where does mobile gaming sit in the gaming community, you know?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and something that we definitely should take some time to talk about when we have more time. We are getting towards the end of our episode for tonight, but that is a really good point. What does mobile game do for the overall gaming community, and what does it do in terms of is it considered? Because I just have never considered, and maybe this is just a generational thing that I just don't know because I don't spend a lot of my time talking to kids, so which is a good thing. So so my thing is like is it just a generational thing, or do people who are younger really genuinely like believe that gaming can be done right there on their phone? I am of the idea that mobile gaming is not gaming. It's just phones just aren't meant to be played, like video games can't be played hardcore on cell phones. At least that's been my experience up to this point. And so it'll be an interesting conversation to have. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of stuff to talk about out there that we can definitely go over. Thanks for joining us. As always, we are Talking Sith, just in case you didn't know. Every week we get together as long as we can. We try so hard. Last week was Halloween, and we had to do stuff with our kids. So yeah, it was that time of year. And Andy was working dressed up as John Wick. So that was pretty good. Yeah, so we try to meet up every week so we can talk about some nerdy stuff, talk about Star Wars, talk about all this fun stuff that we like to dive into. Just real quick, for all of you guys out there who are from America, we are the day after a wonderful election, and I just think it's worth saying that no matter what side you decided to vote for, that this election was one of the biggest that we've had as far as midterms in a long time, and it seems people are really paying attention right now to things. And we don't typically ever get political on this show, and this isn't really a stab at politics. This is just me saying I'm very proud, and this, I'm not usually feeling this way, but I'm very proud to be American in this day and age where people seem like expressing themselves and getting their voices out there is really more important than disagreeing with each other. I really feel like I felt like for a long time with what's been going on and everything that we just fight each other all the time about tons of stuff, but it really feels like we're starting to move towards trying to hear each other out and come to a common goal and come to a common ground. And like I said, no matter what side you did vote for, I think it's great if you did get out and vote, because it was important. And it was really cool to see such a big turnout of people, and we'll see how it goes from here. Like I said, no matter what side you're on, hopefully it goes how you want it to. So but yeah, I just really appreciate anyone who takes their time to stop, check in, and listen. Collaborate and listen, because ICE is back with a brand new mission. But yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. I am your gracious host. I am Chaz. You can find me here every Wednesday talking to you about all these things. Again, we're Talking Sith. Thank you, Andy, for joining us this week. I really appreciate your input as always.
Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. And thank you, Adam. I know you're not feeling the best, so I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out with us. I know you're not feeling too good, so that was really cool of you.
Yeah, whatever, man.
So we will definitely see you guys soon. We'll see you next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. You can check with us there, and we'll probably be streaming some different stuff. So we'll see you then. Yeah, and you can find us, like I said, as always, on Talking Sith on all various social medias. I don't know how much we post anymore because I'm not really on Facebook myself, but I know that we do try to when we can. But yeah, either way, we will see you guys soon, and thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Yeah, bye.
See you.
Okay. Oh, Adam left. Oh, he's already out. He's gone. He's out of here. All right. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, definitely glad to join. It was good conversation. Good, the topics I felt were good. We got to cover on a number of different things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure, man. I always try to bring something different, and I just want to do something different. So, but yeah, it was definitely groovy tunes. So, but
Yeah, so real quick,
yeah,
to the tune of you ending on politics.
yeah.
How much do you know about the rapid response thing for if Mueller gets fired?
Not much at all.
Yeah, so basically, literally everywhere in the U.S., if Mueller was fired, depending on what time of the day, there would either be protests.
So I'm still here. Yeah, no.